welcome back to another episode of the Real Health Podcast. We are jumping in. We're talking through today. The topic is immune tolerance, but I really want you to frame this out in the sense of like autoimmunity, how that really develops in the body. And so as we kind of explore this topic of immune tolerance, let's talk about what it is. Last couple episodes we've been talking about the immune system. But what immune tolerance is the immune system's ability to recognize your body as self. In essence, like, hey, your immune system says, hey, this is my heart or this is my brain, and it doesn't obviously attack it. It also recognizes like pollen and allergies and viruses as non-self. And so when it sees a virus, it's going to attack, it's going to kill it, it's going to kind of put it in its corner and then be done with it. The loss of immune tolerance is when those things can get switched, and the immune system no longer can recognize the human body as self, and it can actually form what we would call autoimmunity. So let's talk about the 7 ways that immune tolerance is lost, and then we're going to talk about 6 different strategies to reverse immune tolerance. And then we're going to talk about some very specific viruses that are associated with very specific autoimmune conditions, okay? So let's frame out these first 7 first. How do we lose immune tolerance? Some of this is going to be a review from the previous episodes. And so just kind of stick with me here. Side note, if you want to dive deeper and get a global overview of the immune system and then dive deep into how to heal it and reverse autoimmunity, reverse childhood disorders like eczema and allergies and food reactions, make sure that you are signed up for our Immune System Masterclass. This Immune System Masterclass is going to be held on the 25th, March 25th, and it's at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is going to be a Zoom-based webinar that you can receive a login link to join our masterclass. It'll be an hour long with Dr. Reed and myself as we dive in and talk about how to heal this immune system. It is free. You do not have to pay for it, and you can sign up on our website. You can also sign up through a link on our Instagram. So make sure you go to Real Health Co. and go to our Instagram and find that link in our bio. All right, number 1, how do we lose immune tolerance? We lose it through leaky gut. When the gut is inflamed for an extended period of time and we lose our intestinal barrier, then it can trigger immune overreactions. As the immune system becomes more permeable, it actually leaks food reactions into the digestive system. It can also release toxins and infections and pathogens that then our immune system becomes overreactive to. So the central to immune tolerance is having a healthy intestinal barrier. Number 2, we call this immune priming. Really what it means is chronic infections. If you have chronic unrelenting infections, bacterial infections, viral infections, parasitic infections, most of the time you are not aware of it. It does not spike a fever. It can intermittently cause a fever randomly. It can cause symptoms like brain fog, low energy. It can cause digestive disorders. But for the most part, most of us don't know that there are infections in our body that are priming the immune system. This is a chronic low-grade inflammatory state that leads to an overactive immune system. And this is how we can lose our immune tolerance. We'll come back to that in a second. But chronic infections, especially parasitic infections, kind of help, really primes the immune system to become overreactive. Number 3, the more toxins you consume, the more detrimental the effects are on the immune system. Heavy metals like mercury, right? Pesticides, environmental toxins like plastics and petroleum, they can trigger immune dysregulation. They can create an overreactive Th2 immune system. We talked about this in previous episodes, and cause this chronic inflammatory process. Living a pure life is so important. Reducing toxic exposure is so important to the immune system overreaction. Number 4, nutritional deficiencies. So things like vitamin D, Omega-3 fatty acids, zinc, vitamin C are so important at regulating the immune system. They actually directly affect what's called the T regulatory cells. And this helps create balance within the immune system. Making sure you're getting sunlight and quality fats, omega-3 fatty acids, are so important at creating immune system regulation. Number 5, chronic stress. Chronic stress will absolutely impair the immune system. It will put the immune system in this too high, then too low shift, and this creates a lot of dysregulated cortisol. Dysregulated cortisol will hinder immune system function. And actually, to support that, number 6 is blood glucose dysregulation. So when we look at high stress levels and cortisol spikes, blood sugar, when it spikes, when it goes high and low, can create the same immune fatigue that cortisol can. Chronic blood sugar dysregulation is massive at fixing to heal the immune system. That's why when you're sick, do not drink a bunch of orange juice. Do not eat a bunch of fruit, right? Consume bone broth and nourishing foods that aren't going to spike your blood sugar. And then the last one we talked about last week was over-sterilization. Get rid of the hand sanitizers. Over-sanitizing your environment is going to absolutely affect how your immune system reacts to its environment. This is called the hygiene hypothesis. And the more hygienic the environment becomes, the less our immune system has to work, which therefore doesn't allow it to be primed and practiced and developed over time. Get rid of those hand sanitizers. Let your kids play in dirt. It'll help their immune system significantly. Let's talk about how to heal it now, right? So we talked about the causes. How do we heal it? Well, first, we got to heal the gut. We got to remove gut reactive foods like gluten and dairy. We got to support the digestive lining. Glutamine is great for that. Zinc is great for that. Collagen is great for that. We got to eat pre- and probiotic-rich foods like kimchi and yogurts and sauerkrauts. And we got to increase our fiber. Chia seeds are one of my favorite things to help with our digestive lining. They're called mucilaginous foods. And so one of my favorite mucilaginous food is chia seed. So number 1, heal the gut. Number 2, support the regulation of your T cells, the T cell regulation. How do we do that? We go back to the vitamins, right? So vitamin D, check your vitamin D levels. Most of the time we need 5,000 IUs of vitamin D a day because of how deficient we are in sunlight. Omega-3 fatty acids. Eat sardines, eat wild Alaskan fish, eat grass-fed beef. Plant-based antioxidants. So a lot of fruits, vegetables, and fiber here. And then supplementation to support the regulation of your T cells. So one of my favorite immune support products is glutathione. Glutathione. Specifically, there's a product called trisomal glutathione. It's one of my favorite oral-based liposomal glutathiones on the market. Number 3, detox the body by reducing your toxin exposure. Okay, get rid of the plastics and petroleums. Get rid of heavy metals. Get the amalgams out of your mouth. Support the liver through cruciferous vegetables. Sauna is amazing for detoxification support. And then obviously use really glass and stainless steel as much as you can. Lastly, get rid of your chlorinated water, your Brita water filter. Get a reverse osmosis water filter. Start reducing that toxic exposure. Number 4, reduce your chronic stress and balance your cortisol levels. So things like sleep and no caffeine past 2 o'clock and optimizing your sleep to 7 to 8 hours a night. These are essential at helping balance your stress levels. Cut off blue light exposure at a certain time and focus on meditative breathing. Box breathing is one of my favorite stress reduction techniques I do every morning. Even just training. You got to exercise. You got to move your body. Get steps in every single day. Movement is life to the body. And so the more we move, the better we are, the faster we'll heal. Number 5, balance your blood sugar. We've got a blood sugar balancing guide on our website. Go to realhealthco.com, download the blood sugar balancing guide that Dr. Reed put together, and it will be absolutely transformational to help you balance your blood sugar. I don't even need to talk about anything else. Go to the guide on our website and get that. Number 6, increase microbial exposure, right? Spend time in nature. Eat dirt, play with dirt, dig dirt, okay? Avoid over-sterilization. Get rid of your alcohol-based, hyper-toxic hand sanitizers. If you want something because you just, that's the way your brain is, you're a little OCD, I get it, okay. There's some people out there like that. There's a colloidal silver gel that's fantastic. It has a little glutathione on it. It's from a company called Results RNA. We got it in the office. You can find it online. That would be a great hand sanitizer. But get out, expose your body to microbials in the environment, and build some resilience. The last thing is build resilience, heat and cold. Did you know that high heat environments, heat shock protein activation, is directly related to killing viruses? Directly related to killing viruses. So think about it. When your body has a virus, it increases body temperature. It kills viral loads. To keep your viral load down, an infectious load down, high heat. Now, cold water exposure, so 5 minutes and 50 minutes in 50-degree water, or 3 to 5 minutes in that temperature, is great at just helping the immune system develop. But if you want to actually knock out some viral loads, let's look at high heat exposure. As we think about this idea of oral tolerance loss, autoimmunity, which we'll talk way more in depth at our masterclass that we're doing on March 25th at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you register for that. Let's talk about, this is amazing. This is what most people don't understand about autoimmunity. Long-standing infections lead to immune oral tolerance lost, and therefore your body then starts to attack self. But there are very specific infections that are linked to very specific conditions. You didn't just develop autoimmunity out of the blue. For instance, there is a condition that I'll start with the easy one, that most people are associated, most people know, called rheumatic fever. Rheumatic fever is from a strep-based bacteria, and this bacteria your body can attack the bacteria, the strep pyogenes, the bacteria, but then it cross-reacts with joint and heart. Which actually can cause cardiovascular disease, endocarditis, and rheumatoid arthritis from this bacteria. There's something called Hashimoto's, or Hashimoto's and Graves' disease, thyroid-related issues. This is linked to Epstein-Barr. When we look at other autoimmune conditions like type 1 diabetes, there's a very specific C virus that's associated with type 1 diabetes. When we look at multiple sclerosis, MS, a neurological autoimmune condition, Epstein-Barr. When we look at Guillain-Barré syndrome, which is a nervous system disorder, Campylobacter jejuni, which is a bacterial infection in the gut. It's usually caused by food poisoning. We look at ankylosing spondylitis. It's caused by Klebsiella pneumonia. When we look at celiac disease, Epstein-Barr, and adenoviruses, and even conditions like lupus associated with Epstein-Barr and cytomegalovirus. So when we look at these conditions of autoimmunity, we have to know that, hey, there's a cause. And if we know the cause, we know the cure. If we know the cause, we know the cure. If you need help with autoimmunity, if you need help with reversing autoimmunity, if you need help with helping your child reverse eczema, reverse food reactions, and build oral tolerance again, make sure you sign up for a masterclass next week. If you're listening to this on Friday, next week, next Tuesday night, March 25th at 6:30 p.m. It is free. Log in with our Zoom-based webinar, and we will teach you everything you need to know about the immune system. Well, there it is. Immune system, oral tolerance, how it's lost, how to regain it, and how, in essence, to start the journey at reversing autoimmunity. Thanks for listening to another episode of the Real Health Podcast. Our passion is to add value to your healthcare journey. Anything that we do, we want to do it within a community to help as many people as possible. Thanks for listening to episodes of the Real Health Podcast. If you could subscribe, and you can share, it would help our mission to reach as many people with real health that produces real results for real people.